investigation, and what are the charges against ISEC Securities Private Limited along with Sanjay Pandey. Take a look at this. They are clearly talking about a communication that was received from the Ministry of Home Affairs revealed the following quantitative issue of illegal interception at NSE between 2009 and 2017. Let's take a look at this. 2009 and 2017, that's the period that the Central Bureau of Investigation is looking into, where the illegal interception was being done. ISEC Services Private Limited is a company incorporated with the ROC. Srimati Santosh Pandey, mother of Sanjay Pandey, and Anand Narayan are the two directors of this company. They've given full details of the company directorship for how long they were. Let's take a look at the other parts. Point number 2, ISEC submitted an undated proposal to the National Stock Exchange of India to conduct periodic study. What they are calling is the periodic study of cyber vulnerabilities. Cyber vulnerabilities, that's what they are basically calling this. Illegal interception being dubbed as periodic study of cyber vulnerabilities. The proposal was processed NSE through Chitra Ramakrishna. After due approval of Ravi Narayan, who's the MD of NSE, a work order was issued in 2009 by a person from the NSE to ISEC. Numerous work orders were issued to ISEC on the pretext of study of work orders. So the breaking news now coming in, not one, numerous work orders were being issued for the study of vulnerabilities. Then they go on to give full details. Let's quickly skip to point number 5, because that's where the important part leads to. Setup for monitoring of calls by ISEC, which began in 2009, was located on the 7th floor of the Exchange Plaza. Till 2012, ISEC used to set up provided by MS Comtel to NSE to monitor intercept calls. Thereafter, NSE purchased a call monitoring setup from ISEC, which was installed by them in the upper basement of the Exchange Plaza. Let's put that out. That's the big breaking news now coming in. Full modus operandi out in public domain right now. How exactly was the National Stock Exchange operating at that point in time when Chitra Ramakrishna was the MD of the National Stock Exchange? It becomes very clear from this particular document right now is that they had set up this entire base inside the National Stock Exchange when machines were basically bought from ISEC Private Limited. Viewers, important to point out, this is a private firm incorporated by the former Mumbai Police Commissioner Sanjay Pandey. And here in this particular document that has been received by the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Home Affairs was basically tipped off that this is actually what was happening inside the National Stock Exchange. And this was an information provided by the Enforcement Directorate to the Ministry of Home Affairs. Thereafter, Ministry of Home Affairs directed the Central Bureau of Investigation to step in to look into the criminal conspiracy. And mind you, the Ministry of Home Affairs was not even aware, or they were not even tipped off about the fact, or no permission was basically sought from the Ministry of Home Affairs to carry out this kind of an interception. And it is a clear violation of the Indian Telegraph Act. We'll come to the details of it in a short while from now. Let's go back once again to the document as we get the full modus operandi. Point number 5, they said that they were set up for monitoring of the calls by ISEC. That's the big detail emerging. ISEC was provided with 4 primary rate interface, PRI lines. Take a look at this. NSE was provided with PRI lines, each having a line capacity of 34 telephone connections by the MTNL, which originated from NTNL and terminated at the epochs of the NSE. So at one go, 32 MTNL lines could have been tapped. So it is not some kind of an innocuous interception that was basically being done, as Chitra Ramakrishna and Ravi Narayan have made it look like, that this was some sort of a surveillance that was being done so that they could take a look at the insider trading that's taking place, or whether at all there was any leak of information from the National Stock Exchange. It turns out that about 90 officials, or 91 employees of the National Stock Exchange, they were basically under the surveillance of the top bosses. The top bosses at that point in time was carrying out this illegal interception. And let me also tell our viewers right now that a private firm was once again roped in. A man at the helm of affairs was Sanjay Pandey, the man you see right now on my screens. Sanjay Pandey is the person who was at the helm of affairs. Remember, he incorporated this company when he was not in service. Then once he was reinstated, he had stepped down, but the agencies essentially suspect that there is enough evidence to the effect that Sanjay Pandey was running the affairs of this particular company. And let's not forget, in terms of evidence, we're being told that there were direct communication and monetary exchange between Sanjay Pandey and ISEC, the company that was receiving the funding, and it was all coming from the National Stock Exchange. In fact, it was directly in the name of Mr. Sanjay Pandey. Let's take a look at point number 8 here. Point number 8, that these telephone numbers were to be monitored, identified by Chitra Ramekeshan.
Counting officers and other officials of the Rajya Sabha Secretariat deployed for duty to assist me during counting the candidates and one authorized representative of each candidate, the observers appointed by the Election Commission of India, and PIB accredited media persons holding authority letters issued by the Election Commission of India will be allowed entry inside the counting hall. Media persons will be allowed entry into the counting hall in small, manageable groups for short duration, escorted and guided by the officers of the Rajya Sabha Secretariat deployed for the purpose. Media persons are requested to scrupulously adhere to the instructions issued by the Election Commission of India with regard to media coverage of counting. I hope all of you have already received the said instructions. The instructions have also been affixed on the notice boards for information of all and have also been uploaded on the Rajya Sabha website aforementioned. The result of counting will be announced immediately after the counting of votes is over. The result will also be uploaded on the Rajya Sabha website under the link Presidential Election 2022. Thank you.
Sir, just one last question. How many MPs were under this? Can you give the figure? How many?
I have given the figures already. The remainder
Party-wise, they will
that will be compiled in a short while. Thank you.
G.
Right now, on your screens right now, Mamata Banerjee. Also, a short while back, we saw Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren. Latest details now coming in the presidential polls.
A bomb-scared mail was sent to National Hillview School, which was being owned by Congress leader DK Shivakumar in Bangalore. According to the management, they had received a mail yesterday stating that they have planted a bomb in the school premises. Immediately, close to 1,500 students were shifted to a safest place. And even the police had rushed to the spot along with the bomb squad, which has already checked every nook and corner, and they have also said that they haven't found anything.
Officers, they have cooperated. Immediately I have given instruction to my secretary and all the staff to vacate the entire building. The children was there, almost 1,500 odd. We have shifted all the children. Now the inspection is going on.
As of now, what we get to learn from KPCC president as well as owner of that particular school, DK Shivakumar, is that they have received a mail from an email ID called Ucha Venkat, and the police is investigating further.
RBI batsman on the other side, another faux pas by Jairam.
Women leader Sultana Khan has been attacked in Mumbai. The attack happened around 11 p.m. on Sunday night. Police officials said Sultana Khan was attacked with a sharp weapon.
अगर एफआईआर है तो एफआईआर होगी, नॉन कॉग्निजेबल को क्राइम है तो नॉन कॉग्निजेबल क्राइम होगा और उसके जो सेक्शन लगेंगे उसके तहत आरोपी को ढूंढना वो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज रहेगा.
Sultana Khan is the state president of the BJP's Minority Front. She was going to a doctor's place with her husband when two bikers stopped their car and attacked her. After the attack, a large crowd gathered there when her husband raised an alarm. After which, Sultana Khan was admitted to the hospital. Police has started an investigation in this matter. Meanwhile, officials said that the victim is very scared and is not in a position to give a statement. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Our Jawans are leaving no stone unturned to save lives of people stuck amidst natural calamities. Several districts of Jammu and Kashmir are reeling under the wrath of rain. Two people were rescued by the Jawans of Indian Army who were trapped in a river in Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir due to flash floods on the region.
मैंने अपनी यूनिट में बताया सभी को, हमारी क्यूआरटी क्विक एक्शन टीम होती है जो, तो वो यहाँ पे मुआयना करने के लिए तुरंत पहुँची तो हमें देखा कि एक बड़े से पत्थर पे बीचों बीच वहाँ पे दो लोग फंसे हुए थे, उनको चिपक के बैठे हुए थे. तो फिर हमने अपनी रोप और अपने ट्यूब डाल के और लाइफ जैकेट लगा के वो रेस्क्यू किया और उनको बाहर निकाला.
Soon after the incident, the Indian Army deployed its teams for rescue operations. The two victims were transferred to a nearby hospital for immediate medical assistance. In a tragic incident coming into light from Siwan district of Bihar, an accused was beaten to death in police custody. The accused, Balmiki Yadav, was taken into custody on 12th of July for consuming alcohol. Remember, consumption and possession of liquor is banned in the state of Bihar. Yadav's family now alleges custodial death after his health deteriorated last night post-police treatment. He was rushed to the nearby hospital where Balmiki succumbed to the injuries.
जैसे संगत में थोड़ा सा मतलब बर्थडे था तो थोड़ा सा दारू पी उसमें घर में बैठे थे. मतलब अब जो भी बंदा बताया वो जो चाहे जो भी सीआईडी लगा हुआ है इनको पकड़वा दी. हुआ क्या है, पुलिस मार को इनको मुआ दिया है. हुआ क्या है.
As anger raged over the death of Balmiki Yadav, his family is now alleging the police for killing Yadav in custody. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Coming to school, and immediately all the students in the school premises, close to 1,500 students who were studying in that school, were been shifted to the safest premises. And what we also get to learn is the Deputy Commissioner of Police West, what at the spot, has checked all the places and they haven't found anything.
Getting in some more details right now, a big day inside the Central Bureau of Investigation right now as we're getting more details that disgraced cop Parambir Singh is now being questioned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Not just Parambir Singh, but right now we're also being told that Sanjay Pandey, who was examined by the Central Bureau of Investigation in the illegal phone tapping case, is also being questioned in the Anil Deshmukh matter. Parambir Singh is being questioned in the Anil Deshmukh matter as we speak right now. In fact, apart from that, even Sanjay Pandey has been examined in the same case. So we've also been told that the Enforcement Directorate has now sent out summons to Sanjay Pandey. He's been asked to appear before the Enforcement Directorate's headquarters tomorrow in the illegal phone tapping case. Let me go across to my colleague Alisha, who's been tracking this story very closely. Alisha, back-to-back breaking news now coming in only on Republic TV. Parambir Singh is now being questioned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Just take us through the details. Parambir Singh technically is a complainant in this particular matter, but having said that, his statement is being recorded. His statement was recorded in the past too, but now it turns out that even Sanjay Pandey, Mumbai Police Commissioner Sanjay Pandey, is also being questioned. Let's not forget the concerns, or rather the queries that were basically raised by Sanjay Pandey when this case was in Maharashtra. In fact, there's a serious allegation leveled against Sanjay Pandey here too. They say that they've tapped the phone of Parambir Singh. Let me go across to Alisha. Alisha, just take us through the details.
Well, yes, Shravan, we know that this is a 100 crore extortion case which has been now investigated by Central Bureau of Investigation. And now what we know that Parambir Singh, who is the complainant in the case, as you rightly pointed out, is the complainant in the case. But yes, he's been questioned by the CBI, and also Sanjay Pandey, who is being questioned in the same case. And this is the case that was registered, and later Supreme Court gave an order to CBI to investigate the case on the complaint that was filed by Parambir Singh. We know that the letter that was given by Parambir Singh to the then Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray over the allegations against the former Home Minister Anil Deshmukh over the 100 crore extortion case. There was an allegation that was leveled against Anil Deshmukh, stating that where Anil Deshmukh has asked the police officials, including Sachin Waze, to extort money from the hotels and restaurants across Mumbai. There are 1,745 hotels and restaurants, and that that need to be taken. The money need to be taken from the hotels and restaurant as well, and that is a complaint that was given by Parambir Singh and now been investigated by Central Bureau of Investigation. And of course, it's an exclusive information that we are getting in for our viewers that now Parambir Singh and Sanjay Pandey, who is being questioned by the CBI over the same case. Yes.
Well, just a quick question with regards to Sanjay Pandey also. Let's take a look at some of the details that are coming in. I'll ask our producers to put out the breaking news coming in with regards to Sanjay Pandey. It turns out, Alisha, that Sanjay Pandey, who was actually summoned on Friday by the Enforcement Directorate in the phone tapping case, who had sought more time, has been issued another summon. He has now been asked to appear before the Enforcement Directorate here in the national capital. Tomorrow is what we are being told. Around 11 o'clock in the morning, he's been asked to appear before the Enforcement Directorate in the phone tapping case.
Well, yes, Shravan, we know that not only the CBI but also Enforcement Directorate has been looking into the NSE co-location case, and importantly, Sanjay Pandey link, and specifically his firm, ISEC Services Private Limited, that has come across. And even we know that CBI has filed his FIR in the case, has registered a case where his firm has been named as the accused number 3. But Enforcement Director has earlier even questioned Sanjay Pandey over the snooping case, because we know that through his firm, through Sanjay Pandey firm, where there was a connection, and there were 91 office bearer of NSE that was tapped, their phone was tapped, and that was a snooping case that was registered with Enforcement Director as well, and through which he's been summoned again. Sanjay Pandey has been summoned again. He's been asked to appear before Enforcement Directorate office in Delhi tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Thank you very much, Alisha. As we get the details of the investigation that's being carried out by the Central Bureau of Investigation. On This Is Exclusive, we'll be getting you more details, full files, only with Republic TV. Along with Alisha, we'll break down all the latest details that are coming in right from the morning. We have been getting you fastest updates on this big story, which has undoubtedly made the business world in a tizzy. Let's take a look at the headlines we're tracking for you at this hour. NSE phone tapping case explodes. Republic TV accesses exclusive ED documents that exposes the details of the scathing NSE snooping scandal. Journalist Sucheta Dalal questioned by the CBI. Republic news break on NSE illegal phone tapping case shakes up business world. Ex-Mumbai Police Commissioner Sanjay Pandey under CBI and ED scan after Parambir. Serious charges against another former Mumbai Police Commissioner. Parambir Singh also quizzed by the agencies in Anil Deshmukh case by the CBI as fast-paced developments take place within the agency. Tonight we have a mega exclusive. In the morning, we got you details with regards to how financial journalist Sultana Dalal was called in for questioning by the Central Bureau of Investigation on Saturday. In fact, responding to specific questions posed by Republic TV. Sultana Dalal has basically underplayed the reason why she was called in for questioning by the Central Bureau of Investigations. She says she's the one who has broken the NSE scam. In fact, she was called in for being examined in it. But tonight, we'll get you full details of this mega scam. A scam which seems to have been brushed under the carpet by the Luton's media. Let me tell you why this becomes extremely crucial and why this is a case which should worry you. It's a mega exclusive. As on This is Exclusive, we're getting you the Enforcement Directorate documents that exposes the details of the scathing NSE snooping scandal. Details of the depth of the conspiracy, details of the illegal interception, and details of how a former Mumbai police commissioner possibly colluded with the top tainted NSE officials in the ultimate act of conspiracy. Let's take a look at some of the documents that we have at this point in time. I would like to first start off with the Enforcement Directorate's documents that we have. While Chitra Ramakrishna, one of the main accused in this particular case, was produced before the court. What is it that the Enforcement Directorate has told the court as far as this case is concerned? Remember, they were the first agency to have tipped off the Ministry of Home Affairs about this massive interception that was being carried out by the National Stock Exchange. And all of this being done in an illegal manner. No consent was taken from the Ministry of Home Affairs as per the laid protocols. In fact, this was being done at the behest of Chitra Ramakrishna and Ravi Narayan. And who was doing it? It was Sanjay Pandey. Let's quickly cut across to the documents that we have. The first document that we are getting for you is from the Enforcement Directorate. This is what the Enforcement Directorate had to tell the court with regards to the role of Chitra Ramakrishna and then Ravi Narayan and also Sanjay Pandey. They say the facts reveal that during 2009 and 2017, Ravi Narayan, MD, Chitra Ramakrishna, DMD, Ravi Varanasi, Executive Vice President, and Mahesh Haldipur, Head Premise of NSE, I say conspired together to cheat NSE and its employees. To further this conspiracy, ISEC was engaged for illegal interception of phone calls of employees of NSE in the guise of periodic study, periodic study of cyber vulnerabilities of the NSE. They say top officials of the NSE issued agreement to work orders in the guise of periodic study of cyber vulnerabilities of NSE in favor of the ISEC Services Private Limited, represented by Sanjay Pandey, illegally intercepted the phone calls of its employees by installing an illegal machine in contravention of the provisions under the Indian Telegraph Act. Since no permission was taken from the competent authority here happens to be the Ministry of Home Affairs. They say this was a violation of the Indian Telegraph Act. No consent of the employees of NSE was taken in this matter. Transcripts of these calls were provided by ISEC and received by the officials of NSE at top level. This in turn breached the confidentiality and the privacy of the employees. Now, let me tell you, this was all being done without taking any permission from the Ministry of Home Affairs. As per the laid protocol, if any agency or any firm, if they want to carry out any sort of interception or surveillance, they need to get a written permission from the Ministry of Home Affairs, and especially a financial boss like that of the National Stock Exchange could not have done this. Let me re-emphasize, they could not have done this. They could not have given this to a private firm that was incorporated by an IPS officer. And the fact of the matter is that they carried out illegal interception. This illegal interception went on for a very long time, starting from 2009 to 2017 when this illegal interception was being done. 91 employees of the National Stock Exchange was being intercepted by this firm called ISEC Private Limited, ISEC Securities Private Limited. Wherein comes the role of financial journalist Sultana Dalal? Alleged role, let me once again re-emphasize, alleged role of Sultana Dalal. She's been called in for questioning. We are given to understand that she was asked this question, that whether at all she knows Sanjay Pandey, how exactly was she introduced to Ravi Narayan. Ravi Narayan has now admitted that there were recommendations basically made to give this particular contract to ISEX Private Limited, and he claims that this was a recommendation that came in from Sucheta Dalal, something that she has denied, or she rather says, I do not recollect. That's exactly what Sucheta Dalal had to say, saying that she does not recollect. Let me once again go back to some of the documents that we have accessed right now, because this will tell you that this is just the tip of the iceberg. In the days to come, we are being told that the ambit of the investigation is only going to widen. More names are going to tumble out. We were the first network almost 7 days ago to tell you that a business journalist was under the scanner. Once again, Republic TV is the first network to tell you that it was Sucheta Dalal who was called in for questioning around 9 o'clock in the morning at the CBI headquarters here at the national capital, questioned till about 6:30 in the evening, and thereafter, when we sent her 3 specific questions, she has now issued a statement. We'll go to that statement in a short while from now. Let's quickly go back to the set of documents, the entire files only with Republic TV right now. I'm right now holding this very document that has been produced before the court by the Enforcement Directorate. What's the amount? What's the amount of money? This a 4.54 crore rupees represents the proceeds of crime, in this case, which were acquired by ISEX Services Private Limited from the National Stock Exchange of India, and which were projected as fees for non-existent periodic study of cyber vulnerabilities of the NSE. The payment for the illegal activities of interception, monitoring of telephones of employees of NSE was decided and agreed upon between the officers of NSE, including Chitra Ramakrishna. Just to help you understand, viewers, in order to carry out this illegal interception, Chitra Ramakrishna and the entire gang essentially said that they wanted to carry out a cyber vulnerability test, which would essentially mean to understand the grid in the National Stock Exchange, whether at all there was any leaks or not. They wanted to carry out a cyber vulnerability, which would have been fine. Only that's not what happened. There was massive illegal interception that was done. In fact, the Central Bureau of Investigation has now come across original recordings. Not just recordings, but also transcripts of those very recordings. All of that has now been seized by the Central Bureau of Investigation. The Enforcement Directorate has also now stepped in. Let me bring in my colleague Alisha, who's joining us on this broadcast from Mumbai. Alisha, fast-paced developments once again. Republic taking the lead on this mega scam, which has undoubtedly shaken the business world. Tonight we are getting the entire files. Plenty of documents to once again raise questions about this massive interception that was taking place. What is it that you are picking up? You've also covered the Mumbai police. Now, once again, a former Mumbai police commissioner in the dock.
Well, yes, we know that Central Agency has been looking into the matter, and specifically when it comes to the NSE co-location scam. We even know that the agency has even recovered, because there were 8 premises of Sanjay Pandey, related to Sanjay Pandey, not only in Mumbai but also in Pune and other cities. That was, the searches that was going on. And what was the recovery? The recovery from the agency, that was the payment received to company backed by Sanjay Pandey, that is ISEX Services Private Limited. Also the voice samples of recording, original transcript of the recording, RAID servers along with 2 laptops from the premises of ISEX Services Private Limited. So this was the recovery that was made by Central Agency. But what we know that there were 91 NSE employees, that is the office bearer, that was under the snooping. Their phone were tapped, and that was done by the firm that is who's the founder is Sanjay Pandey. Sanjay Pandey is the founder of this ISEX Services Private Limited, and that is in connection with getting in with Chitra Ramakrishna. And we know that there were 91 office bearer whose phone was tapped. So this was illegality that was done by an IPS officer, Sanjay Pandey, now who has been under the scanner. Of course, he's been called by agencies several times. We know that ED has already recorded a statement, and now even CBI has recorded a statement. Whether it comes to the NSE co-location scam or whether it is 100 crore, extortion case that is being investigating by CBI as well. So back to back, the exposure that you've been bringing us for our viewers, Shravan, which is very important to know the role of Sanjay Pandey, because at this point of time, where the CBI has registered a new case against Sanjay Pandey firm, where Sanjay Pandey firm, that ISEC Service Private Limited, has been named as the accused number 3, which clearly shows the illegality that was carried out by Sanjay Pandey, being an IPS officer, because this snooping that took place between 2009 till 2017, and by the time this NSE snooping case that was that came into the light, after which the snooping stopped, the call recording was stopped by Sanjay Pandey firm. So this is very important and came into a light. And we know that central agency has been continuously looking into the matter. They have been, this is just information. What we are getting is it's just a tip of an iceberg, because CBI, central agencies, is been deeping, digger. They have been looking into in each and every aspect, whether the role of Sanjay Pandey or of his firm, that is ISEC Services Private Limited.
We're getting in some more breaking news right now. Full details, as we had promised at the top of the show, that we're going to tell our viewers tonight what exactly is this scam all about. As we told you, now details emerging. Big breaking news coming in. 91 NSE officials, they were being intercepted by the National Stock Exchange. Not just that, it was ISEC which had tapped the phones of about 91 NSE officials. And for all those who are raising this question that perhaps former Mumbai Police Commissioner Sanjay Pandey, who had incorporated the company back in 2001, had actually stepped down. But it turns out the Enforcement Directorate at least suspects that even when he had stepped down, the company was actually being run by none other than Sanjay Pandey. How exactly are they substantiating it? They are substantiating it by saying that there is enough communications that have gone between Sanjay Pandey and NSE, which shows that it was Mr. Sanjay Pandey who was running ISEC. And not just that, there are checks in the name of Sanjay Pandey, which has been given by the National Stock Exchange. That's the reason why the Enforcement Directorate, as well as the Central Bureau of Investigation, once again suspecting that even though he had stepped down, he was actually still carrying out this activity. Let me also quickly go across to my colleague Piyush Ori, who is joining us from outside the Central Bureau of Investigation here in the National Capital. Piyush, a big day at the Central Bureau of Investigation. Two former top cops, Parambir Singh as well as Sanjay Pandey, are now being questioned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. What more details are you picking up?
This is a very big day because two former cops of Mumbai Police are being investigated, for their probe of first alleged, trying to alleged irregularities, and also trying to, find out secret information of NSE employees. As you said, that 91 NSE employees, secret information was being taken over by this ISEC security. Yes, Shravan. Shravan.
Piyush, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want
so as I was saying,
you to just show around our viewers, you are outside the Central Bureau of Investigation. You're outside the CBI right now, so I would request you to also show our viewers what's really happening there, and also answer the question with regards to what are the questions that have been asked so far. Has both of them stepped out as yet?
So as of now, they have not been stepped out. I'll just try to show you the images of CBI headquarters over here. And as I said, that this is a very big day because two former top cops of Mumbai Police are being investigated for the role of irregularities and stealing some vital information of NSE employees. Now, this CBI was being given the role of investigating Sanjay Pandey by the Ministry of Home Affairs after they were tipped off by Enforcement Directorate of his role of stealing information of National Stock Exchange. Now, we are trying to find out, as of now we have, the officials have not come forward and told us anything about it, but we are trying to find out that was Sanjay Pandey's company made to be introduced to Chitra Ramakrishnan and Ajay Narayan by Suchita Dalal, as it has been alleged. So yes, there are some very important details that need to come out in this case, and we are trying to investigate. We are trying to find out about what exactly is happening. As of now, it has been told to us that the probe in this matter is still being done by CBI, and I can just allow you to, just pan the camera over here again to the CBI headquarters. The probe over here is still going on, and we are trying to track that when exactly are these two cops are going to come out of the CBI headquarters here in Delhi. Back to you, Shaban.
Well, thank you so much, Piyush, for all those information. As Piyush Ori reporting from Delhi CBI headquarters, where we know that former Commissioner of Police Sanjay Pandey and as well as Parambir Singh, who stepped out of the CBI headquarters. This is regards to the money laundering case. We know that there was extortion case that was leveled against Anil Deshmukh, and the letter that was given by Parambir Singh to former Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, clearly stating that Anil Deshmukh has asked the police official to extort money from the hotels and restaurants. That is around 1,740 hotels and restaurants in Mumbai that the owner need to be extorted, and that is where the letter that was given by Parambir Singh. We know that Parambir Singh is the complainant in the case, but his statement has been recorded. It was several hours where Parambir Singh has entered the CBI headquarters, that he was questioned through not only Parambir Singh but also Sanjay Pandey, because in the same letter where Parambir Singh has informed that Sanjay Pandey was snooping, he was doing a phone tapping, which is why he need to be investigated, and that is where Sanjay Pandey was called in. We know about Sanjay Pandey is not only Sanjay Pandey but also his firm, that is Ex Services Private Limited, which is under the scanner now in the NSE co-location scam. Importantly, what we have access, the CBI FIR that we have access, where Sanjay Pandey's firm Ex Service Private Limited is being named as an accused number 3, and that is now under the scanner. In a central agency has already find out many evidence that come across between Sanjay Pandey and of course the top business journalist, that is Suchita Dalal, whose statement has already been recorded by Central Bureau of Investigation, which clearly stated that she was the one who got Sanjay Pandey into it. She was the one who was involved between Sanjay Pandey and of course Chitra Ramakrishna. We know that in this NSE co-location scam where there was a phone tapping, phone snooping between 2009 till 2017, and after this NSE co-location scam broke out, the phone tapping was stopped. But it is 91 office bearer of National Stock Exchange where the phone tapping, phone snooping was ongoing, and it was stopped right after the NSE scam broke out. So it is now under the scanner. We know that Enforcement Director has already questioned Sanjay Pandey in the same case, and right after that even CBI has been looking into the matter. We know that Central Bureau of Investigation has already conducted searches in many places across Maharashtra. It has been told that not only Maharashtra but also other places related to Sanjay Pandey. And moreover, his office in Mumbai, that is Ex Services Private Limited, where Central Bureau of Investigation has conducted raid, and many of the documents and of course the files that has been recovered by Central Bureau of Investigation, and now they have been looking into the matter. Yes.
We're getting in some more breaking news coming in right now with regards to the questioning that has taken place in the extortion case. Let's put out those breaking news that's coming in. We've been told that former Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh as well as Sanjay Pandey, they were questioned in the extortion case. Questioned for almost 6 hours. That's what we are being told. 6 hours questioning of Parambir Singh as well as Sanjay Pandey in the extortion case, in the Anil Deshmukh extortion case. What is this case all about? Why exactly was Parambir Singh called in for questioning? Because not the first time that he's appeared before the Central Bureau of Investigation. In fact, he was called in earlier too. He's been Anil Deshmukh has already been charged sheet. Statement of Parambir Singh was recorded in that case too. We are now being told that both of them were questioned. We're trying to find out whether both of them were grilled together or not, because the reason why Sanjay Pandey was also called in for questioning is because an allegation that has been leveled by Parambir Singh is that a phone call was basically made by Sanjay Pandey. He has also put out the transcripts of that phone call that was made by Sanjay Pandey, where he's made the allegation that he was trying to put pressure on him to withdraw the case against Anil Deshmukh. And that Parambir Singh says this was at the behest of the Maharashtra government, the former Mahavikas Aghadi government rather, that Sanjay Pandey was acting as an intermediary and he was putting pressure to withdraw the case against Anil Deshmukh. In return, he said that, and once again, allegation leveled against Sanjay Pandey, that if he withdraws the case against Anil Deshmukh, Mumbai police would have also withdrawn the cases that were registered against Parambir Singh. Let me bring in my colleague Alisha, who's joining us on this broadcast. Anisha, more details emerging right now. 6 hours of questioning. While you take our viewers through some of the details of this case, I would also like to speak to some of my sources to find out whether at all Sanjay Pandey and Parambir Singh, they were grilled together or not. It's interesting. Both the former police commissioners inside the Central Bureau of Headquarters here in the National Capital, Republic TV, as always, the only network with all details of the agency right now. Alisha, why don't you take our viewers through some of the details as I get more information from my sources?
Well, yes, Shravan, we know that this was a case, and specifically the letter that was written by Parambir Singh on 20th March last year. The letter was written to the former Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, clearly stating that Anil Deshmukh, who was then Home Minister, has asked the police officials, some of the police officials, including Sachin Waze, who called to his official bungalow, that is Gyaneshwar, and he has asked all the police officials to extort money from the restaurant or the hotels across Mumbai, because he also given a number, the number that has been mentioned in the letter, same written by Parambir Singh to former Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, that there are 1,740 hotels and restaurants across Mumbai where Anil Deshmukh has asked to take money that is monthly at least 2 to 3 lakhs, to collect 2 to 3 lakhs from the same hotel. And that is when Parambir Singh has wrote a letter to expose Anil Deshmukh at that point of time, and clearly given that letter to Uddhav Thackeray and also to the then Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar. He also informed that, and it was earlier informed to the many of the ministers, then ministers in Mahavikas Aghadi, over the allegations and what is the misconduct that has been done by the former Home Minister Anil Deshmukh. But that was something like no one looked into it, and later the same complaint is what filed before the court. But what is mentioned about Sanjay Pandey, as you also mentioned about Sanjay Pandey's role in this whole case, because yes, there is a transcript by Parambir Singh clearly saying that Sanjay Pandey, who mount some pressure on Parambir Singh, asking him to take down his letter to withdraw what the complaint that is filed with Uddhav Thackeray or whether with the other senior officials. He really mount pressure on Parambir Singh, and that is the transcript where even Parambir Singh has mentioned in the same complaint. That was around 20 to 25 pages of complaint that was given to Uddhav Thackeray. But now even CBI has registered already a case, and we know that Enforcement Director has already filed a charge sheet in the case. And there is where the statement of Parambir Singh is also mentioned. We know that Parambir Singh, who was in Mumbai, who went to court to withdraw all his bailable warrant, also went to the ED office to record a statement. His statement has been recorded, where Parambir Singh has clearly stated that he was knowing what exactly has been going inside the police officials, where Sachin Waze has informed about Anil Deshmukh misconduct, to ask all the police officials to extort money from the hotels and restaurants owner. But that was the complaint, that was something not look into it, and now even the CBI has been looking into the matter, where as you mentioned, that 6 hours of investigation that was ongoing with CBI, and of course it is to be known because whether both were confronted with each other, because at one point where Parambir Singh was questioned and also Sanjay Pandey was questioned. So yes, it's a matter to know that whether both were confronted, because that was a letter that was given by Parambir Singh, also mentioning that Sanjay Pandey, who was Maharashtra DGP, forced Parambir Singh to take down his complaint.
Well, that's the latest details now coming in. Some more interesting details coming in, Alisha, right now is the fact that both the commissioners have been called in together. In fact, questioned together. Reason being, if you really look at the complaint that was actually filed here, Parambir Singh had made that allegation against Sanjay Pandey that he was working at the behest of the Mahavikas Aghadi, putting more pressure on him so that he withdraws the case against Anil Deshmukh, in lieu of the fact that the cases registered against Parambir Singh by the Mumbai police would have actually withdrawn. That's the latest now details coming in. As far as Parambir Singh, let's put out that breaking news coming in, grilled together for about 6 hours. Not very sure for how long perhaps they were together. That's not clear at this stage. We'll try and get in some more clarity. But what we can confirm that he was almost questioned for about 6 hours. Both of them were questioned for 6 hours. In fact, this is the day when Sanjay Pandey was also called in by the Enforcement Directorate in the illegal phone tapping case. In fact, now fresh summons have already been put out. That's the latest now coming in. On your screens, the details of Parambir Singh and Sanjay Pandey questioned for about 6 hours. Grilled together is what we are picking up at this point in time. It's going to be very interesting to see if they were grilled together for almost the entire period. Not very sure at this point in time. We're trying to get in some details right now from the agency, but it's unlikely that we'll get it immediately. But all that we can tell our viewers right now is that Parambir Singh, Sanjay Pandey, they were quizzed together for about 6 hours in the national capital in the Maharashtra extortion case.
A scandal that has shaken Dalal Street. Former Mumbai Police Commissioner under scanner. Scandal hits the NSE again. Who snooped for years on end? Ornab debates at 10 p.m.
Reading allows us to become familiar with ourselves.
We don't read, we won't know what is knowledge.
I just find it very interesting to know people's lives, how they went through certain situations, how they dealt with things.
So wherever you want to go in life, if you read books along those lines, then that would really help you in growing.
Reading could mean a million different things to every individual. What does it mean to you? Visit readindia.info to find out more.
Minutes after Dhankar filed his nomination, the Congress rushed to politicize the fight for the Vice President's office. Congress MP Jairam Ramesh tweeted a picture targeting Dhankar with the caption, "Candidate kaun hai?" which translates to who really is the candidate. In another big setback for the former Mumbai Police Commissioner Sanjay Pandey, 2 more cases have been registered against him, one by the CBI and the other by the Enforcement Directorate. Former NSE CEOs Chitra Ramakrishna and Ravi Narayan were also named in the case. Top business journalist Sujeta Dalal was interrogated by the CBI in the NSE illegal phone tapping case. Sources tell Republic TV that former NSE chiefs Chitra Ramakrishna and Ravi Narayan claimed that Dalal introduced ex-Mumbai top cop Sanjay Pandey's family firm Isex Securities Private Limited to them, the firm which is under the lens in investigation. In a big development amid the ongoing debate over a cryptocurrency ban, the Finance Ministry, in a written response to a question in the Lok Sabha, said the RBI is of the view that cryptocurrencies must be prohibited in the country. A bomb scare was reported at a school owned by Karnataka Congress President DK Shivkumar. The police says the threat letter was sent via email, following which security was beefed up and about 1,500 students were evacuated to another school premises. However, no bomb has been recovered so far. Twelve people lost their lives and 15 were rescued after a Maharashtra Roadways bus en route Pune from Indore fell off the Khalghat Sanjay Setu in Dhar district. 40 passengers were on board the ill-fated bus. The cause of the accident is yet to be determined.
Women leader Sultana Khan has been attacked in Mumbai. The attack happened around 11 p.m. on Sunday night. Police officials said Sultana Khan was attacked with a sharp weapon.
अगर एफआईआर है तो एफआईआर होगी, नॉन कॉग्निजेबल क्राइम है तो नॉन कॉग्निजेबल क्राइम होगा और उसके जो सेक्शन लगेंगे उसके तहत आरोपी को ढूंढना वो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज रहेगा.
Sultana Khan is the state president of the BJP's minority front. She was going to a doctor's place with her husband when two bikers stopped their car and attacked her. After the attack, a large crowd gathered there when her husband raised an alarm. After which, Sultana Khan was admitted to the hospital. Police has started an investigation in this matter. Meanwhile, officials said that the victim is very scared and is not in a position to give a statement. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Our Jawans are leaving no stone unturned to save lives of people stuck amidst natural calamities. Several districts of Jammu and Kashmir are reeling under the wrath of rain. Two people were rescued by the Jawans of Indian Army who were trapped in a river in Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir due to flash floods on the region.
मैंने अपनी यूनिट में बताया सभी को, हमारी क्यूआरटी क्विक एक्शन टीम होती है जो, तो वो यहाँ पे मुआयना करने के लिए तुरंत पहुँची तो हमें देखा कि एक बड़े से पत्थर पे बीचों बीच वहाँ पे दो लोग फंसे हुए थे, उनको चिपक के बैठे हुए थे. तो फिर हमने अपनी रोप और अपने ट्यूब डाल के और लाइफ जैकेट लगा के वो रेस्क्यू किया और उनको बाहर निकाला.
Soon after the incident, the Indian Army deployed its teams for rescue operations. The two victims were transferred to a nearby hospital for immediate medical assistance. In a tragic
Desperate Yashwant Sinha politicizes presidential election.
सरकारी एजेंसियां बहुत सक्रिय हो गई हैं, लोगों को इस बात के लिए बाध्य कर रही हैं कि वो उनके पक्ष में वोट डालें और पैसे का भी खेल हो रहा है.
On the back foot, Yashwant politicizes race to Raisina Hill, debating tonight at 9 p.m.
That's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive, a story which has shaken the business world. On the other side, live and breaking with my colleague, Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor.
Thank you so much, Shawan. Presidential polls, Yashwant Sinha controversy, the NSE scam, all that and more in this 6:30 p.m. live and breaking. Here are the headlines. NSE phone tapping case explodes. Republic TV accesses exclusive ED documents that expose the details of the scathing NSE snooping scandal. Former Mumbai Police Commissioner